Hello, everyone. You're listening to the smooth sounds of misinterpreting movies. I'm Tyrice, that's Joe, and today, I didn't do any preparation at all for this podcast. And Joe is going to carry the show like LeBron James carried the Cleveland Cavaliers. Because today, we're going to misinterpret Mortal Kombat.
Misinterpreting all the movies we're misinterpreting. That's alright, that's okay. You're really smart, and that's fair play. Misinterpreting.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Joe. Welcome to another episode
of pushing Joe underneath the bus so you can just skate away to freedom and glory.
At least I'm admitting that I am trying to push myself out of my comfort zone of preparing for things very heavily
and pushing me off of a cliff.
I'm just trusting myself that I can push you off and you'll land gently. Because for today's episode, I have done absolutely no preparation for this episode. There's no notes. I have a pen in my hand because I want to look important, but I got nothing. Nothing at all.
Actually, that's my trick. How dare you steal that? I just realized that's my trick.
You know what? I have two pens so I can look extra smart. Let's see. I can tap it on my desk so I can sound like I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the deal. Here's why I did. Well, I'm going to tell you how little preparation I did for this episode.
Oh, please. Please do.
First, we all make grandiose plans with our lives.
I just swallowed loudly into the microphone. I am so sorry.
Okay.
I heard it. I was just like, oh God.
We're still learning how to do this here. So I had plans. I had big plans for this episode. Okay, I had medium plans for this episode. But I was going to write a script, write some notes and things, and it wasn't going to be as in-depth as the usual episodes are because I do like the idea of us going week to week with 1 week we do the deep analysis and the other week we just talk about a movie. But I was going to write something. And I was also going to watch this movie a second time and take notes of things that were noteworthy. I didn't do that. So I've watched this movie exactly one time, and now I'm going to tell you all about it with the help of Joe, of course. So with that being said, Joe, take it away. I don't even know what
So, one of the shortest summaries that I have found on IMDb is 3 unknowing martial artists are summoned to a mysterious island to compete in a tournament whose outcome will decide the fate of the world. Except that's not Mortal Kombat, 2021. That's Mortal Kombat 1995, the first movie. Tyrice, I believe that you actually had pulled up IMDb.
I did.
Would you please read the summary for the 2021?
Okay, so I'm going to read it, but I'm also going to use this music that I downloaded because I paid $10 for it and I only used it for a few seconds. So I'm going to read the description while playing this music that I paid for. Okay? Sound good?
Oh yeah, that works for me.
All right. MMA fighter Cole Young seeks out Earth's greatest champions in order to stand against the enemies of Outworld in a high-stakes battle for the universe.
So, listening to that, that's not even remotely true. If you've seen the movie.
So, I'm enjoying this rapid reaction because I want to know what you think. So a couple things that I'm thinking about here that I want to talk about, and this is just off the top of my head. I want to know your reaction to this movie, your initial feelings about it, whether it was good, bad, or somewhere in between, and how it compares to the 1995 movie, because I remember very little about the 1995 movie. I saw it in theaters. I think that was like the first movie.
Me too.
Which movie came out first? Was it that or Power Rangers? I can't remember which movie was first.
Mortal Kombat, if I'm not mistaken, came out first.
Okay, so yeah, so this
Actually,
was.
let me look that up. because that was 1995. Let me see when the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie came out.
While you're looking, I'm just going to talk about how I think this was the first movie that I can remember seeing in theaters. I want to say that Power Rangers was first.
Oh, no. So they both came out in the same year.
Okay.
So let's see when the release date was. I didn't even realize it was the same year. That's crazy.
Time moves weird when you're young.
Yes, and you realize that when you're not so young.
Yeah.
All right, so Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie, came out in June 30th.
Okay.
So for Mortal Kombat, we have...
And there's a reason why I think Power Rangers came out first, because I vividly recall seeing it in the Clayton Theater. And
oh, wow.
I think for Power Rangers, it was before my family realized I needed glasses. So I was sitting in the back row and I could barely make out what was happening, but I loved every second of it.
Well, you know what? You called it correctly. While Power Rangers was June 30th,
Okay.
Mortal Kombat was August 18th.
Aha. Okay. And that feels like it was years apart. But I remember
Yeah, I
seeing...
never would have guessed they were in the same year.
Right? So there's only two things I remember. Well, the only thing I remember about the Power Rangers movie is they're walking through a parking... I haven't seen this movie since I was a kid, by the way.
Tyrice, I could tell you so much about what happened, but today is not the Power Rangers podcast, so I'll let you continue.
Well, today I'm giving you free reign to go on whatever tangents you want to go on, because this is just no preparation whatsoever. But I remember in the Power Rangers movie, they turned on they were in the garage and they turned on the flashlight on their visors, and I thought it was the coolest thing.
Never been done before.
I know.
It was movie specific.
Was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. And the only thing I remember about the Mortal Kombat movie is Scorpion shooting the harpoon out of his hand and it traveling through the trees, and it stops right at was it Johnny Cage?
I think it may have been Johnny Cage.
Johnny Cage's face, and it's like trying to... That's all I remember. That's all I got.
Yeah. Very, very Alien-esque.
Yeah. Well, I didn't see Alien at that age. I didn't see Alien until like maybe 3 years ago. Believe it or not.
What?
I know.
Even I saw that. I'm the chicken shit of the podcast.
I wouldn't say that.
Just like Aliens 2 was like a huge movie for me. I love that movie.
Yeah, there's so many movies that I haven't seen, and this podcast is going to help me work through all of those. So,
well, you've seen Buckaroo Banzai, so I don't know what more you could wait for. I mean, I feel like you've seen the pinnacle.
There are so many classics that I haven't seen, and I've seen Buckaroo Banzai before all of them. And
your life is much better for it. You're welcome.
I don't know if it is.
It is.
That still remains to be seen. But I just broke my pen. But so first of all, let me get your initial impressions on Mortal Kombat. What is your takeaway? Because I think that you and I disagree on how we feel about this movie.
So, and that's perfectly fine, because actually one of the things I wanted to talk about is the public reaction that I've seen for the movie as well. So, but for my initial, for how I feel about the movie, I enjoyed it. Like, I had a lot of fun watching it. Now, that being said, is it a good movie? No. No.
Okay, I think we're on the same page.
Is it a well-done plot? No. But did I come looking for any of that bullshit? No. Did I come looking for some badass fatalities? Yes. Did I get said fatalities? Fuck yeah, I did.
You know, I actually think that we're on the same page. I think that we're on the same page, because I my review of this movie, I may have said it on the other podcast, but my review of this movie was, to anyone who asked me, I hated it. I loved it. It was awful. I loved every second of it.
Yeah.
Because I remember seeing some responses on Facebook of people who were like, this movie is trash, don't watch it, the plot was terrible.
Yeah.
Like, what were you expecting? It's a Mortal Kombat movie. So
you came to this shit for plot?
Exactly. Like, what? I don't I just wanted to see.
Nah, bro. Nah.
Right. And I'll even go so far as to say that this movie was actually perfect because I felt like it. So my favorite thing about the movie was looking at the characters and pointing them out as they appeared on screen. Like, oh, that's this character, that's that character. And every time a character appeared on screen, the characters went out of their way to address that character by name, or they addressed themselves. It was completely unnecessary, terrible dialogue, but amazing. It would be like if I walked into a room full of mutual friends and I open the door and I go, I am Tyrice, podcaster of misinterpreting movies. And everyone is like, yeah, I know. We know who you are. Why are you announcing yourself?
You're not supposed to do that?
Is that what you do?
Oh. That would explain why I have even less friends than I had before.
Yeah, maybe don't refer to yourself in the third person. Joe has entered the room. I am one half of misinterpreting movies.
No, there's no way I'd have the confidence of doing that. So, literally, I walk into work and everyone's like, "Hey," and I'm just like, yeah.
Okay, we're already off the rails because there's someone. There's someone, you reminded me of something. There's someone who comes into my work, and at the place that shall not be named, and this person is older. A lot older. And this person is a big Donald Trump fan. And I know this person is a Donald Trump fan because this person wears a Donald Trump hat. And this person and his wife are very, very kind to me. Super nice. They're super sweet people. And I can't help but think to myself that I am their black person that they use for I'm not racist because.
Oh yeah.
And it's just so funny to me because I know that's who I am.
The irony of, why do you guys always have to play the race card and yet you are someone's race card?
I am someone's race. You know what?
It's that Uno reverse. You're the racist motherfucker.
It's like,
I have a black friend. I know a black guy. I have spoken words to him.
I'm an Uno card for racist white men. It's also
isn't that how it works?
That is exactly how it works. It also makes me think of hear me out.
The more black people they happen to know, they can just stack them. Draw 4, bitch. Draw 4. Draw 2.
I talk to 3 black people every day. I have a black third cousin. Someone actually said that. Like, you didn't even get to choose who your cousins are. What are you talking about? But it's also like, hear me out. I feel like a woman's body because other people can profit off a woman's body, but if she profits off her own body, well, that's unacceptable. So other people can play me as a race card, but if I play my own race card, it's whoa, buddy, why you gotta make everything about race?
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly.
But other people can have me as the I'm not racist because, or I'm not racist but card, and I think that's what I am for that guy.
Nope.
So yeah, that got us off track. Let's see how far off track we can get this episode.
Yes. So talking more about the movie. Yeah, I saw a lot of reactions the same way you did. A lot of people just, man, this doesn't make sense. Oh, this, even seeing things that are just like, oh, it wasn't as good as the original, and I'm just like, you drink that Kool-Aid just a little bit too much, didn't you? Because
did they go back and watch the original?
But that's my point. It's all nostalgia because don't get me wrong, you can't tell me that I didn't enjoy the original, and I'm still always gonna enjoy it. But let's call it for what it was. They had the PG-13 the crap out of that.
Yeah.
Which allowed them to, they had no choice but to kind of focus on the story. And you had great, like, the sets were the most accurate, amazing thing about it. The sets were great. You did have characters and stuff, but the fights were definitely a bit lackluster.
Yeah, I enjoyed the fights in this one. They weren't the best fights I'd ever seen.
But they stand heads and shoulders above the fights from the 95.
I should
movie.
really watch. Is the 95 one streaming anywhere, by the way?
That's a good question.
I would love to watch it.
Oh, HBO Max.
Okay, all right, yeah, I'll watch it because I think it would be cool to. And had I prepared for this episode, it would have been cool to do kind of a comparison between the two.
Well, actually, so one of the things I want to do is I put a post out asking for people to send their reactions to the movie,
okay,
how they felt about it and everything. But before I read those, there's a couple of those I want to read off.
Okay.
What I want to do is basically kind of promote, kind of big up another podcast.
Okay.
A podcast of a friend of mine. She's super cool. She's a cosplayer and stuff. She's really into like geek culture and stuff. And it is Asian Pacific Islander History Month.
Okay.
She has a podcast with another friend, and they're both Asian. So their podcast is called The Movie Masochist. And it's funny because when I read that name and they were talking about the movies they were doing, I'm like, this almost feels like a sister podcast to this podcast in some ways, because they're just like, the tagline is two friends trying to find as much fun as they can out of some of the worst movies.
I definitely think so. This is a friend that you know personally.
Yeah.
I definitely think that we should do a crossover episode somehow.
She actually made a comment. She was like, "Man, if I had known that, maybe we should have collaborated."
We absolutely should. Yeah. Anyway, continue because I would love to do that.
Yeah, they so I listened to their episode about Mortal Kombat the other day, and they actually did do a little bit of comparison between the 1995 movie and the 2021. And I feel like their thoughts were about the same as ours. There's, there are issues with the movie as far as like plot and just how, just, shoehorning in a character and everything. Like some of the way you were talking about how they did a lot of introductions in the first one. They don't quite do that. So it's kind of like, it's treated very Easter egg style here. And then even where you have some of the characters, you're just like, well, why is this person here? Or why am I seeing photos of that one? Or what's the timeline? Like, now the timeline is very confusing as far as this new movie, because you see pictures of different fighters who came later in the game, but apparently in this have already gone on and passed in the story. I
feel like, so I want to complain about something about the characters. I always thought that Johnny Cage was the lamest character in Mortal Kombat. It's just my personal opinion. Okay. And spoiler alert, but I mean, I'm not really spoiling anything because this movie you don't watch it for the story. But spoiler alert, not really. The movie ends on a cliffhanger, and it implies that if there's a sequel, they're going to seek out Johnny Cage. Like Johnny Cage is a big part of it.
They literally just.
But I just feel like Johnny Cage was the lamest Mortal Kombat character in the first game.
So I have to beg to differ. I didn't think he was the lamest. He had some of the personality of the character was just annoying. But like you didn't necessarily get that in the game as much. Like you got that a little bit, but everyone was just basically I'm this character. All right, let's beat the shit out of each other with the characters. You got it. They played it up in the first movie, but they did the thing where the guy's a jerk and everything, but he becomes so much more by the end of it, and they honestly did a really good job with that. So it's kind of interesting.
You're referring to the first one?
The first movie, yeah.
Oh, see, I really need to rewatch the first movie because I don't remember anything about it.
So, like you said, he fought Scorpion. Like he was an asshole, and he was like just full of himself. But the man could fight.
Yeah, true.
So,
also, quick question.
And he won over Sonya Blade. So
this was in the first one too, right?
Yeah, not even just in the first one. Like it was canon for the game because they have a daughter together that shows up in the later games of Cassie Cage.
That was going to be my question. Go ahead, continue. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yes,
Cassie Cage.
Cassie Cage, who is in the military herself, but her fighting style can switch between her mom's or her dad's. And she's a big shit talker. And personally, if I talk about Mortal Kombat characters that I love, she is my personal favorite.
Oh man.
At an old job I had, we actually had Xboxes set up where we could kind of play games. It was a tech company, blah blah blah. But my one manager's son was there, and on Fridays when we'd have a little extra time, we'd play. And needless to say, I treated him. He was black, and you have that tradition in the black households when there's fighting games, where it doesn't matter what age they are, you beat that ass. Yeah. And not only did I whoop his ass, I talked so much shit to him, and even telling his mom, "Man, y'all might have to call." Child Protective Services, because I am whooping the shit out of your son.
Let me tell you how my brother and I play video games, and my brother's older than me, and I lost so much, and I would sit there while he was out with his friends and practice the moves and practice, and he still beat me every single time we played. I maybe won once or twice, but every fighting game we played, he would destroy me.
You want to know the interesting thing?
What's that?
My son has beaten me in Tekken and Smash Brothers so many times. He's not necessarily that great. Like, he's better than me in Smash Brothers to a certain degree because I just can't really ever get the hang of Smash Brothers. But the fact that he's beaten me in Tekken because he'll just keep going for the same moves over and over again. Oh my gosh. Not only that, he inherited the shit talking directly from me. So he talks so much trash to me.
So you can't even be mad. You're just mad at yourself.
No. I sit there and I'm just like,
you just gotta take it.
I don't know whether to hug you or like backhand you. And I'm proud that I'm feeling both of these emotions at the same time.
That's so funny to me because, I mean, I would say hug. Just
Oh no. It's
calm down
hug.
And then hug. And then
it's the dad thing that you see in sitcoms they talk about, where the dad always beats the son until the son finally rises up and starts beating the dad.
And then you're but then like you can't even really give him the satisfaction of beating you because you look at him, you're like, that's my boy.
It's like my boy.
Right.
You fucking asshole. Like, I'm proud of you, you son of a bitch.
Speaking of Tekken, let me tell you why I hate my brother. Like that was a great family story. Let me tell you the conflict between my brother and I.
Okay.
And this should tell you everything you need to know about my brother for Tekken. He plays as Eddie Gordo.
Oh fuck, he's a
Exactly.
Cheap ass bullshit. Fucking leg sweeping motherfucker.
Exactly. And I would play as I had a couple favorite characters, but I would like to play as King. And
I bet you played as fucking Guile in Street Fighter 2 and fucking turtled all the time. Of course he did.
Yeah, I still hear Sonic Boom in my nightmares. So he would play as Eddie Gordo, and I enjoy playing as King. And for anyone who's not familiar with Tekken, King can chain together throws. So you have these combinations of throws.
Yeah.
And you chain them together. And
actually, I should have guessed you were a King player because you're a wrestler.
Right,
so
right.
That makes
so
sense.
I loved it. So I would chain together the throws, and I would spend time learning the button combinations, and they would get pretty long to where you could like chain together like. I mean, I had a combination that I remember that would take like 75% of someone's health right away, but. It was also possible to break the chain if you hit a certain button combination at a certain point. And my brother learned that. So it took away my... I would get the combination started, and then he would just kick out of it. And then he would proceed to cartwheel kick me in the top of my head.
Over and over and over.
I had a really traumatic childhood. I'm just now realizing.
But, and that's the worst thing is, like... I hate that I'm sitting here like, oh man, Eddie's the cheap character, because he was one of the only black characters we had.
That's true.
So if you're the black kid growing up, of course you're just like, well, I guess there's Eddie. He's the black guy we had. But then as soon as you go to use him, oh, you cheap motherfucker. You just...
That's so...
like,
you know what? Why did they make Eddie Gordo the one, like, the most hated character? That's racist. They made us all hate the black man.
So speaking of that, as I was telling you that my son's been beating me, and also his stepdad beat me, that I developed a deep, deep hatred inside my cold black heart for. I have proceeded to buy Tekken 7 twice. One for my Xbox, and I just recently, because it was on sale, bought the Ultimate Edition for my gaming laptop.
Now,
and if you want to talk about a character who I've heard described as cheap, I just added with the DLC Leroy Smith.
I'm Googling Leroy Smith Tekken 7 right now.
For those of you who are not sure who he is the guy that T-Pain cosplayed as a couple years ago that literally fit.
Wait, I'm looking at Leroy Smith, and this is who I want to be when I get old.
Right?
This is who I want to be. So for those who aren't familiar with Joe's description or Leroy Smith, he's got dreads. His hair is all just, it's like, he's got gray hair. Like, it's all like super white. And he's got these white dreads, and he's got this thick white gray beard, and he's this big buff black dude. And it's who I want to be when I grow up.
And he also practices Wing Chun. So that was a style that Bruce Lee first learned, and where he got part of his basis for Jeet Kune Do. So literally, like, it's everything black people love. He has a pit bull who just has a dopey grin on his face.
Oh man!
And just carries around with him. So yeah, he's basically like the embodiment of what black people want, and I love him so much. But I've watched people talk about he's one of the most hated characters brought into it because he just came off as OP. And I have to tell you, I was playing him today at lunch at work, and I was trying to eat my super delicious Pokeball, which was so good. That there was a point, and I'm fighting the computer now. Mind you. At one point, I just kind of grabbed the controller. Actually, I have the controller here. So I had a controller. My hands like this, and was just using chopsticks to eat from the Pokeball. And I didn't die like immediately. I still like was hanging on.
Are you that good at the game?
No.
Oh, okay.
Just, like, he's that character is that strong.
Oh, okay.
And it's not like I was facing like any like live opponents or anything like that. So, but the fact that I was able to do that and still like not just instantly just start getting destroyed.
So
tells you a lot about his character.
I have a question. How long have you been playing Tekken 7?
So I've played it for a while, and then I dropped off for I don't even remember how long, and then I've kind of come back to it recently.
Okay.
So,
because I was thinking.
Sorry, think about what you're about to say very carefully.
All right.
Choose your motherfucking words carefully.
What if we have, and I actually I love these episodes that we do where there's no real structure because we come up with so many ideas that I want to follow up on, and I'm writing them all down. What if we have a Tekken battle and we build it up like it's a UFC event and we film like, have you seen the UFC behind the scenes or 24/7? Like it shows the fighters waking up in the morning and training.
I've seen some of them. Yeah.
What if we have a big like build up and we talk trash to each other and then we have a big Tekken tournament? It wouldn't be a tournament. It would just be a battle, like a best of 3 or something like that. What if we did that? I'll start training. I will download it tonight and call in sick to work tomorrow and start trading.
Is this what you want, Tyrice?
This is what I want. I also, we should do Soul Calibur as well.
Oh God, I haven't played Soul Calibur in
I haven't either, but I used to play it a lot, and I used to be really good at it, but I haven't played it in a long time. But we could do Tekken and Soul Calibur. What do you say?
All right, if
I challenge you to a duel. Do you accept? Is that a yes?
We accept your challenge.
Then it's official. Joe and I are going to have a Tekken battle. And this could actually be the music we use for the... And I think this will have to be a YouTube exclusive because there's going to be a definite visual element to it of us training for the fights. But we can talk more about that off air. But I did write that down. We're going to have a game tournament. And we're going to do Tekken and Soul Calibur. Let me write that down here.
I just want you to know this was your idea.
Oh, I am going to destroy you, sir. I'm going to absolutely... I haven't beaten anyone in Tekken in a long time. It's going to be great to get the controller back out. God, I wish we could do this in a way that like... Oh, okay. Now I'm thinking I have big plans. So here's what I want to do. I want to get together a bunch of people who are vaccinated, obviously, like you and I are. At my apartment complex, we have the community center. And at the community center, we have a giant TV. And I could hook up the PlayStation to that TV. And if I could find a way to capture the video, I can invite people over. And you can invite people over, and we can have a crowd watching us play this game while we talk trash to each other. And then we'll have some sort of stakes. We'll have some sort of, like, maybe I'll... Now I'm thinking big. Should we make a belt? A championship belt? Is there a way we can get, like, a belt made? I'm going to Google it.
Oh, there are places you can get belts made.
Custom made.
I know this.
You know this? This is not even a question?
It's not a question.
Custom made championship. Fully made custom title belts. Oh, boy. I cannot wait. Oh, man. This is going to be fun. Do you know anyone else who also is, like, into fighting games?
I know some. Well, no, I know some people.
I mean, we can have an undercard for sure. Like, we could have maybe not fighting games, but we can have, Chris, if you're listening, we could have a Call of Duty battle. Not with me, though, because I suck at it.
Chris, you're hurting Chris right now. He's been dying to get all three of us on a team together playing Call of Duty.
I would be the weak link on the team. I just know I would. Because okay, let's do it. Which Call of Duty is it?
Well, he likes to play Warzone. Warzone's the free one. Warzone is fucking hard. So I like playing multiplayer in Cold War.
So is it can you play across systems? Like if I have PS4,
Yeah, you can play cross. He has a PS4 and I have
Okay.
an Xbox, so we can do cross-platform.
Okay, well, I'm writing that down as well. Call of Duty Warzone. All right, and we're gonna have.
I put Cold War in there. Warzone is tough.
Okay, Call of Duty. What's tough about it?
I
mean, like,
So
is
I'm
everyone just very
half-
good, or?
So I'm halfway decent at I'm halfway decent at the regular Call of Duty. Mm-hmm. But this is more of a kind of battle royal thing.
Okay.
Where you can have teams, they literally just drop you in this area and you have to outlast these other groups of teams.
Oh, that sounds horrible. That sounds horrible. Why would anyone do that?
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's on the list of things to do too. I feel like, by the way, I'm definitely going to have to edit this episode because we went off on so many tangents. But anyway, we're going to do that. We're going to do Tekken. We're going to do Soul Calibur, and we're going to do Call of Duty, and we're going to do all of those things. And Chris, I'm sorry, but we're also going to talk about the draft. We're also going to talk sports. Actually, Joe, I'm sorry to you because we're going to do that for sure.
You don't have to say sorry to me. I'm not thinking about anything other than crushing you in Tekken ever since you sat there and started that.
Oh, I'm going. You know what? I'm bringing up Tekken. The last Tekken I played a lot was Tekken Tag Tournament.
Oh yeah. This ain't that.
This ain't that. This ain't that.
So let me ask you this: are there any rules on the characters you can have?
No. What kind of rule would you want to?
Actually, no, because if you're buying it for your PlayStation, if you're buying it for a PS4, then we'll stick with the characters that you already have. And
I mean,
no DLC characters.
If you're
That's good.
Well, if you're good with the DLC character, and it's available on PS4, I'll buy the DLC character just so that like I can.
Tyrice, don't do this.
Like so, no. Hear me out.
Don't do
So
this.
if you're good with the DLC character and it's someone you're comfortable with, I'll buy the character so I can practice against it and like in game. But I want you to be comfortable and play. You know, you can play with whoever you want to play with. Mm-hmm. Because I'm skilled. I believe in myself. Mm-hmm. I'm the Conor McGregor of this. Wait, Conor McGregor just got knocked out. Mm-hmm. I used to play Tekken all the time. I feel like the uncle at the cookout who's showing everyone how I used to play basketball. Mm-hmm. But I used to play Tekken religiously. That was my thing. And I feel like I still got it. So who's your character? Is that the guy you were telling me about earlier? Is that your guy?
That's the one who I've been playing with. Now, yeah, that's gonna be my guy. That's gonna be my guy.
I'm gonna feel bad taking you down, but is who was my guy? What's my guy?
They still have King. They still have King.
I used to play as King and someone else. I can't remember who the other guy was.
It doesn't really matter much.
Because I'm gonna lose.
Oh yeah.
I want everyone to listen to this and hear this, and
all the people listening to this, they're just like, okay, Joe seems kind of into this, but a little weird. Chris and my girlfriend are hearing this and they're like, oh God, no.
My other guy in Tekken 7 not Tekken 7, Tekken 3 which was last time I played, was Brian Fury.
Oh, you're a Fury guy. I was thinking
I was a Fury guy. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I still am though. But oh man, I feel like this is dangerous. This is dangerous. Not because I'm worried I'm going to lose, because I'm definitely going to win. But this is dangerous because this is like reigniting something that I put away years ago, and now it's bringing it back up again.
My blood is like burning in my body right now.
I feel that way when I know I'm going to lose too. It's okay. That nervousness you feel is knowing that you're just not quite good enough to win at a game that you put so much time into. There is no shame in that. Oh, this is gonna be so much fun. This is gonna be so much fun. Okay. So we're gonna do that, and we will settle it at some point, and we'll promote it, and we'll talk so much trash, and then one of us will lose, and we'll have a championship belt that I'm going to hang behind me here on every episode when I win it, and wear it everywhere I go. I'm gonna wear it to work, I think, under my apron, just so it's there. But anyway, back to Mortal Kombat.
Every day when I wake up, Tyrice. Every day when I wake up.
You're going to play Tekken?
The first thing I do when I wake up.
Uh-huh.
Last thing I do when I go to sleep.
Is?
It's going to be playing Tekken.
Same. I do think that...
Tyrice, I am going to hurt you in ways not even imaginable.
I will bet you that I will be so good. I'll be so much better than you that I'll hit you with that move that Jack does when he swings his arm 5 times and punches you across the screen. And it's the slowest move in history. And if you get hit by it, you deserve to die. That's when I'm going to land on you. But it's okay. There is no... You learn more from your losses than you do from any of your victories, so it's okay.
So then you're going to be a scholar by the time I'm done.
I can't wait for this. I absolutely cannot wait. But anyway, while this rage is building up inside of you, let's go back to Mortal Kombat. Something we can both agree on. Maybe.
I want all of your friends to know I'm going to hoe this man.
Oh man, there was a so here's a sports thing that you'll actually appreciate. So I was watching basketball, and the commentators were saying they were talking about their playground rules for their basketball games, and they said that in their basketball games they had a rule that if you got dunked on and it was embarrassing, the person that dunked on you, you had to take their last name for the rest of the day. So I'm going to have to take your last name if you beat me that bad. Fine. I'm not going to lose, so it's okay. I'm okay with it. Back to Mortal Kombat. I have a question for you. 2 questions, actually. 2 of them. First question, when did you ever stop playing Mortal Kombat, like, religiously, or just like did you fall out of playing the game regularly? And if so, which game did you stop playing?
I did. So part of it was like being able to afford, because I wasn't getting that many games. Right. So sometimes if I played games, it'd be over like a friend's house or something like that. I had the original Mortal Kombat on Sega Genesis. And that was great. I enjoyed the shit out of that. And I remember playing 2 and I remember playing 3, and I fell off somewhere in between there. I played 10 because that's when I beat my ex-boss's son, and just completely made that kid want to go back to like preschool.
You're going to do the same thing to me in Tekken. I'm sorry, go ahead. Continue.
Yes. I just
So I think that we are about this at the same level of with Mortal Kombat. I think we got out of it at around the same time, because the last Mortal Kombat I played was the Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, which was basically Mortal Kombat 3 but with a bunch of other characters thrown into it. And the worst character, so I'm not familiar with a lot of characters that came after Mortal Kombat 3. But the worst character by far in the entire series, I'm looking at a character list right now, and you probably actually won't even remember this character because this character was so bad. Can you remember the worst character? Like, in your opinion, what is the worst Mortal Kombat character? The lamest. I guarantee you won't say it. And when I say it, you'll be like, oh, right, I forgot about that character.
I can't think because I can't go back for enough. Like, even though I remember from like the first couple games, like when I start thinking, my mind is going back to like 10.
Okay.
Now.
Well, I will tell you. It's Stryker, the New York cop.
Fuck Stryker. I remember playing as Stryker too.
He was like, the worst.
I think I tried to get good with Stryker and then just lost interest and was just like, no, I just don't even want to.
Yeah, he is by far the worst.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think so. Let's bring it back to the Mortal Kombat movie. And quick question before I go any further. Actually, I'll ask you this question off air. I'll ask you this question off air. But back to the Mortal Kombat movie. If you were in charge of directing a Mortal Kombat movie, like let's say this movie just it bombs, doesn't make any money, and they're like, all right, we're going to make a new Mortal Kombat movie, but we're going to start from the beginning. We're going to pretend this never happened, and we're going to restart the universe. And we need you, Joe, to write it and direct it and basically be the creative control over this. How would you make the movie? Because I have an idea, but I would like to know how you would what would you do?
I don't know. It's very interesting to think, like, there were parts from the first, if you could combine the original and the newest one, they would make a fantastic movie. Like, really, you would have like such a good movie. I think I don't know if I would introduce the new character, like so people have been talking about him being, the main character and everything, and the driving character. And he's definitely the driving character. I wouldn't say the main character. Like, you're focusing a lot through him. He's definitely the audience perspective.
Yes.
But I feel like if you were doing that, I would like him to be more so just like I'd want him to be a little less important to the story.
Yes. I see what you're saying there.
I would want them to work within the, like, there were kind of interesting ways of setting up, like, the whole Mark thing that they had in this movie. And some of this stuff, I'm saying a lot of spoilers and stuff. If you've seen the movie, you've seen the movie. If you haven't seen the movie, me telling you what happens in the movie isn't going to.
If you haven't seen the movie, you can probably guess what's going to happen. And don't watch the movie for the story anyway. The story is not that great. So if it gets spoiled, just enjoy the movie for what it is.
But I like the whole thing of the champion mark. I actually do like that idea. I think I'd be more of the way of not necessarily them having the, like, some people were born with it and everything.
Right.
I like the idea of it, like, showing up on the characters.
Right.
And then you have I don't know which character you want to go with, but you have the characters start to be drawn to each other.
Yeah.
In more of a way than, like, kind of looking for people and looking for, like, I get that part, the kind of adventure of, like, searching out, like, what this all means and everything. And I think they could have been just, if they had done it better, it would have worked fine. But I think just well, I'll say that. But I think it would have worked better with them being drawn to each other, and maybe having Raiden had visited them in their lives, like, repeatedly, like, in different disguises, but just kind of showing up and being like an encouraging figure, like, hey, keep going, you're stronger than you think you are, things like that, and building the characters up. So like when it comes time for them to start becoming this, they're just like, you can see where the potential is, but the potential doesn't necessarily need to be there. Like this movie was this entire movie was a setup movie.
Yeah, I was actually going to say that.
Part of the problem. That's part of the problem, I think, with a lot of what people had to say about it. So it was like, oh, they weren't in the tournament. They didn't have the tournament. Like, yeah, they didn't have the tournament. Oh, they, fought this and this character and it didn't even make it to the tournament. And it's like, yeah, but, like, the idea is that by the time they come to enter the tournament, they will be legit, like, ready to compete.
Yeah, I feel like I want to write like some Mortal Kombat fanfic.
Yeah,
because you're right. They never did get into the tournament, and I did read a review for this movie, or an interview with the director, and he said that was the whole point, and this movie was the lead up to the tournament. And kind of like the backstory, and then the next movie, if they ever make it, which I think they will be mostly the tournament. Like that will be the tournament.
Yeah.
But the thing that I don't remember the first movie at all because I was so young when I saw it. But the thing that frustrated me about this movie, and I think this was an issue in the first movie, but I don't remember, is what I want to see personally is like. Do you remember the movie Gladiator with Russell Crowe? I want that, but with Mortal Kombat characters. And I want to see them focus on, because there's so many individual stories that I completely forgot about until I loaded up this website that I'm looking at right now. Yeah. There's so many individual stories, and I want them to just focus on. Individual characters and have the other characters kind of be, just side characters, or like for example, I loaded up the Mortal Kombat 3 character list, and I remember some of the criticisms for Mortal Kombat 3 was it got way too out of hand with the characters and the stories, and it just like it didn't make any sense anymore.
Really?
Yeah,
three did.
Yeah,
because they got really crazy after that.
Right. I had no issue with it because I thought they were just having fun. But do you remember? Do you remember the yellow robot named Cyrax?
Yep.
And Sector?
I remember them.
So Cyrax here.
It started to become basically ninjas, the game. Right.
So it was like, I'm reading this, and it's like Cyrax's unit LK4D4, the second of 3 prototype cybernetic ninjas built by the how do you pronounce that? Lin Kuei. Thank you. Like his counterparts, his last program is to find and terminate the rogue ninja Sub-Zero. Without a soul, Cyrax goes undetected by Shao Kahn and remains a possible threat against his occupation of Earth. Like, follow that storyline of Sub-Zero trying to escape these ninja robots and have the tournament happen, and then you can introduce all the other characters in the tournament and have these cool fight scenes, but you also have a side story going on. But I don't know. What do I know?
Well, see, I guess my thing is I feel if you're gonna do a story with Sub-Zero, it has to be the Scorpion.
Yes.
Story.
I can't disagree with that.
That's the most, in my opinion, compelling.
Yeah.
One. In which they did a good, and that's another major disappointment. They did such a good job with that in this movie that it feels like 2 different movies happened.
Yeah, I don't understand why it's so hard for people to make video game movies. I don't like, what is, I didn't even bother going to see Monster Hunter, by the way. Was that even any good?
You asked me, like I went and watched that.
I mean, it didn't help that it happened during a pandemic.
So I heard a review about it, and it's basically kind of Milla Jovovich.
Which I'm fine with. I like her a lot.
No. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but just like there were so many things where it's just like you had opportunities to kind of tell, like an interesting story, and then you just kind of.
I don't
like whatever.
I don't understand why it's so difficult to tell a good. The story is already there. There's good comic book movies, right? Because the story's already there. What is the issue? Is it just that people don't care? Like I don't understand.
Look how long it took for us to get good comic book movies.
That's true. I forget about that. Like
we still haven't really gotten good anime movies.
I wouldn't know that, but someday I'll start
just
getting into it.
There's some stinkers out there. And even the Japanese ones don't always hit the mark, let alone like, US, remakes, reimagining.
I can't imagine that would be any good. I can't.
So I think it's the medium, because in video games you're telling a story, but a lot of times you have a story that's kind of just open enough because you have to leave a big part of the element of the story, even though you're having stories, is the person connecting and emotionally feeling the things that are going through. So I guess there's something in the translation of that, because I feel like so I didn't play it because I did not want to play Sadness Simulator 1 or 2. But a lot of people, really enjoy, what game I'm talking about, don't you?
I think so, yes. I think I know what you're talking about.
The Last of Us
Yes,
series.
I knew that's what you were going to say. I haven't played it either. Because everyone who talks about that game is like, oh my gosh, this game is so good. I cried. I'm like, I don't want to. Yeah. I don't need help crying. I'm good.
I remember watching the beginning part when the first one came out of someone playing it. And I'm just sitting there just like, I'm not going to make it through this game. I can't do it.
Like, if I really want to cry, I'll watch a sports movie about race where everyone gets along and then the underdogs win the championship and everyone loves each other. If I need to cry, I'll watch that. I don't want to watch. Tangent time.
What was the last movie you cried at?
Hold on. Tangent time. And now Joe is going to go on a long tangent. Here we go. Enjoy. I don't. Okay, I had this discussion a long time ago. I don't cry at movies because I don't really cry at very much art in general. Because even when I get a super emotional...
Because you're so strong.
Yeah, that's exactly what...
You're so strong and manly.
That's exactly what I got accused of the first time I said this. No. It's because when I hear something or see something that like really affects me emotionally, I am affected, but I'm also more just impressed at how someone was able to get that emotion out of me, that it becomes me going, holy crap, I want to cry right now. How did you do that? So like it kind of takes me out of it a little bit. But the last time I can remember getting a shaky upper lip and coming really close was, I want to say there were 2 movies that made me feel that way. One is going to be understandable, and the second you're going to make fun of me, but I don't care.
Okay.
So the first one is Men of Honor with Cuba Gooding Jr., who's a super creep. But do you know what?
You gotta cry at the super manly movie.
No, in the end, where he's walking in that suit. Do you know like the whole? Do you remember that movie at all?
I watched it and I remember hearing about it and stuff, but I've forgotten about it since then.
It's I gotta make sure I got the names right here. So it's Robert De Niro and Cuba Gooding Jr. And it's based on a true story of a Navy diver who is black, and it was set in...
Played by Robert De Niro.
No, the black Navy diver was not played by Robert De Niro. Robert De Niro was the guy who hated him. And
played by Charlize Theron, because she can play anything.
Yeah, because like I don't see color, so I guess that's fine. No, but so basically, let me see here. Let me read the. It says the story ultimately revolves around two men of honor, their relationship, their individual and joint failures and triumphs. Carl Brashear is determined to be the first African-American Navy diver in a time where racism is rife. Leslie Sunday is his embittered trainer, determined to see him fail. Fate, challenges, and circumstances eventually draw these two men together in a tale of turbulence and ultimately triumph. So these guys, like Robert De Niro, is trying to make Cuba Gooding's Jr. life as difficult as possible so that he can quit because he's black. And as the movie goes on, he kind of, obviously, like, Robert De Niro realizes the error in his ways, and then by the end, it completely flips. And there's this really dramatic courtroom scene where, I can't remember exactly what happens, but Robert De Niro is, like, I think they tell Carl Brashear or Cuba Gooding Jr. that he has to take 10 steps in his scuba suit, and this is like old school scuba suit, so it's like 1,000 pounds.
Yeah.
And he has to take 10 steps in his suit in order to do something. I don't remember what it was exactly, but basically he's in this giant suit. He has trouble walking, and he has to walk in this suit for 10 steps to prove something, to win some sort of case. And he stands up and he's like struggling to walk, and Robert De Niro, like, when he gets halfway there, Robert De Niro is like, "Come on, you can do it!" Like, and it turns to him, like, encouraging him because he realizes that he loves this man, and they overcome race, and in this perfect world, they, like, two people get along, and it's the most, like, emotional thing. And I got that shaky upper lip when that happened. And the other movie, and I don't even remember why it made me feel this way, but I just remember it happening, was, I just remembered the last time I told you something, and I, like, revealed a part of myself to you when I accidentally killed that guy in SOCOM Navy SEALs, and you laughed at me. And I'm wondering if I should share this, because you might laugh at me again.
Go ahead. I promise to share after you. So
Okay, fine. I'll say it. Last movie that made me almost cry. Coach Carter.
Damn, you go all the way back to that.
Yep. And I didn't see it when it first came out. I saw it later on when it was like just playing on network television, or it was playing on some I don't know, it was playing somewhere. I didn't see it in theaters, and I didn't see it on DVD, but I watched it. And I don't remember exactly what scene it was or what it was that happened, but everyone finally came together in the end, and it was just like the most. I didn't cry because I don't cry during movies or anything. I was just so impressed by how it made me feel something that I just like was like, wow, that is incredible. And that's it. That's the last one I can remember having that kind of reaction to. Now, what's yours?
All right.
Thank you for not laughing at me, by the way.
You're welcome. No,
I'll try to return the favor.
Laugh about that. No. You're probably gonna laugh because here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna name some movies just recently, and one wasn't even a movie. One was just me watching a clip of a movie that always gets me, and just it's impossible for me to just not. So, I am going to list some, and I'm gonna have you pick one, and you can ask about one.
Okay. I may not have. I probably haven't seen these movies because there's a lot of movies I haven't seen. But go on. I'm gonna write them down as you say them so I don't forget.
Okay. First one, Endgame.
Okay. Haven't seen it. Go on. And after you list them all, then I will tell you which one I want you to elaborate on. I want you to relive this.
You just took me off guard by saying that. Now I'm just kind of okay. The second one is an anime movie called Weathering with You.
Okay.
Third one, I'm gonna say Toy Story 4.
I'm laughing at you because I completely get it. Okay, go ahead. Oh, I just remembered one, but go ahead. I'm gonna let you finish.
Okay. I'm gonna say the first Creed, but that's because I literally just keep watching this scene over and over again.
Okay.
And just it always does it to me. And I was thinking of I was trying to think of one more. I was thinking of one more. I had one more, and I can't think of it. So I'm just gonna go back to something that always works.
Okay.
Oh no. Okay, I remember. It was. You know what? I'm gonna save that for a separate thing.
Okay.
But I'll tell you what it is. So there's a show called My Hero Academia. It's an anime. Mm-hmm. I have cried not only at many episodes, but I have cried at both of the movies. And they're doing a third movie, and I'm pretty sure when it comes out, I will be crying at that one.
Can we live stream you watching it?
You can. Yeah, you actually can. The season is going on right now, so when there's an episode that looks like it's gonna do it, we can work something out. So
I'll watch it with you, and I'll just, instead of live streaming, I'll just live tweet your emotions.
Yeah. But the other thing I was gonna throw in when I couldn't remember that, but like I said, that one's a whole separate thing that we'll go into for another thing. Why I care about, that's the episode, why I care about superheroes and things like that. That's a whole episode we can do.
Why?
So the last...
I gotta write that down. Why
Sure.
Joe cares about superheroes. Okay, go ahead.
And the last one I'm just going to do wasn't a movie, but it's and I've done it at other episodes too, but one that always gets me is the Vincent Van Gogh episode of Doctor Who.
Is that the
It's
one?
called Vincent and the Doctor.
Is that the one where there's always the gifts of David Tennant crying in the rain? Is that where that one's from?
It's from that show, but not from that episode.
Okay, because I don't know much about. I know a little bit about Doctor Who, but so I get to pick one that you can explain to me why you cried.
Yes. Yes.
Ooh, and then after you tell me, I'll tell you one that made me cry. Although I don't remember the very many details of it. Let's see. Endgame, Weathering with You, Toy Story 4, Creed, My Hero Academia, Doctor Who. I feel like everyone listening is going to want to hear your I feel like everyone listening is going to know about Doctor Who already.
Oh, I mean, if you're a Doctor Who fan, you have an idea.
So
you know exactly what it is.
Let's go with Creed.
Okay, I'm gonna paint the picture because
Okay.
Creed. I love both Creed movies. Absolutely love them. The training montages like hype me up when I really need it. Sometimes I go through those training montages.
I really wish I had some
do.
sad music for you.
Have you seen either one?
Have I seen? Yeah, I've seen I've seen Creed, but I saw it in theaters when it first came out.
Okay.
So I don't really remember.
So I'm gonna paint the picture.
Okay.
It's the final fight at the end. He's going for the championship. He's struggling, having a hard time, but he's really starting to show signs of all the hard work paying off.
Yes.
You know, what kind of spirit he has in him. It's when he gets knocked out and he's down. And if I start crying now, just
I'm looking for sad music. I'm looking for sad music, by the way, that I can play while you say this, and I'm not finding it, but I'm listening.
So it's when he gets down and he's down for, I forget what the count was. Mm-hmm. So everyone that is there for him in his corner, his girlfriend, his mom watching on TV, Rocky, or telling him to get up. Because they know he can get up. They know he's not done. They know he has more in him than that, and he starts replaying his life in his head.
Oh no.
And everything he's gone through to get to the point. I can feel my eyes starting to water.
See, I
can
know
feel them building up.
See, this is the kind of stuff to back you up. So I can't, even though I can't remember, like, I don't really cry at movies, this is the kind of stuff that gets me emotionally. Like, it's not necessarily the death of a character or something like that. It's this kind of, like, hopeful, like, all the stuff I've been through, I can do this. I'm just realizing that I have this. Like, this is what gets me.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
So he's thinking of everything, and then he has that moment where after he's been thinking of everything, the image of his dad shows up in his head.
I forgot about that.
And he gets up like just out of nowhere, like from the dead, just jumps up.
Yeah. Oh man.
And it's just like he's completely like renewed, like he's ready to go, and everyone's like, wait, I am fucking crying right now. Let's talk about it.
I was going to add sad piano music, but now I feel like this will be too much.
But he gets up and everything, and they're checking him, and they're lying for him because he's his eyes really fucked up and everything. They're pushing through, and Rocky's just like, you don't have to do this. You don't, everyone sees how tough you are. You don't have to do this. And he's like, it's the line. I gotta prove it to him. I gotta prove it to him. Rocky says what? I gotta prove to him that I'm not a mistake.
Oh yes. Okay. I forgot about that scene. I forgot about all of that.
I've never forgotten about it because I always go back and rewatch that.
Yeah, so I totally forgot about that. And I was actually going to.
I'm on the fucking podcast.
No, I was actually going to. Okay, so here's what I was going to do. I was going to play this, but I felt like that would be overkill because I didn't want to pile on. But I have one that I remembered that gets me. And we could do a whole episode actually on songs that almost get me. Songs that like I can't listen to. But do you remember the first sequence in the movie Up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even have to tell you about that.
I once started tearing up when someone just mentioned the beginning of Up, and that was enough where I thought about it for a second. And
I was done. It was so unexpected because you're watching the movie and like you don't know anything about it, and it's just this like beautiful happiness, and then you're just like, if you haven't seen Up, just go watch it. Yeah. Watch the first scene and be sad. It gets better after that, but just watch that first scene.
Okay, so since we're talking about Pixar, I'm not going to talk about the part in Toy Story 4. Okay. I'm just going to say hot tears were shed in that theater. Yes. It was during the summer. The air conditioning was on. It was chilly as fuck, but my tears were so hot coming down my face.
Did you cry in Now, I didn't cry at this because I didn't make it far enough to see this happen. Mm-hmm. But when what's her face when she died in Final Fantasy VII, what character was that?
Oh, Aerith.
Yeah, when she died in Final Fantasy, I didn't make it far enough to see that happen, so I didn't even know about it.
So I didn't because I didn't actually start playing that game until the end of 2019, and I actually haven't even gotten anywhere close to that far. I'm still on the beginning stages because I put it on my Switch because everyone's always talked about it, and I've never actually played it. So I started trying to play it, and then I'm stuck because I have to get fucking Cloud to get the girl's costume to put on, and I don't understand how the fuck to get to where I need to get to fucking do that, and I'm just frustrated. I need to
have a buzzer for every time we go off the rails and change topics, because you just reminded me of something else. On Final Fantasy VII, one of the things that, and this is somewhat related because it's video game related. I want to go back and play Final Fantasy VII, but one of the reasons why I can't is because it takes so long for each battle to happen that it drives me insane. And I get it, at the time, the 3D graphics were brand new, so they were kind of like showing off what they could do with the graphics. But it drives me insane how every battle has this it just takes so long to do everything, and I don't have the patience for it.
You know what's funny? I hate JRPGs unless when I was introduced to like Final Fantasy, I started with 10. And I was just like, turn-based combat. I don't want to fucking do this. This looks so fucking boring. And then I got sucked in for like hours on end that I would play it. And I've discovered I hate JRPGs unless I'm actually just in the middle of playing one and then I'm consumed.
Yeah. You can't. It's not really a genre that you can just like watch someone else play. Yeah. I will never forgive myself for I had Xenogears on PS1 and I got rid of it. And I've been wanting to play that game so badly for so long. But I love JRPGs. Like it's probably because my brother never played JRPGs, and he would beat me at sports games. He would beat me at fighting games. And that was the only game that I could play by myself, and no one was better than me because I'm the only one who cared.
You can't beat me because there's only one person can play.
Right? Yeah.
You can't hurt me now.
And I love how you can kind of like just I don't know. I like JRPGs. I love the slow build of slowly building your character and kind of playing at your own pace somewhat when it's turn-based and there's no clock telling you what to do and when. And I just love like getting into the story and it's basically like you're playing a movie pretty much. I just hated how Final Fantasy VII, like the transition to 3D made the fight so like take so long, and I miss just the 2D-ness. And now you're making me want to buy that emulator again so I can play all these old games.
Are we becoming like a video game podcast all of a sudden?
We kind of are. I think what we should do, I think we definitely need to do bonus episodes about video games and comics and anime and things like that. Okay. Because we clearly have a lot to say about video games, misinterpreting video games. And you clearly have a lot to say about anime. And I will subject myself. I will suffer through an anime episode.
Oh my God, it's not that bad, dude. God, I could recommend you stuff that you'd be just like, okay, like this is interesting. Like
this is another fun idea. I'm gonna write this down too. So I just got another fun idea. You try to get me into anime, and I'll try to get you into a sport that you don't really care about. What do you think? Do you follow UFC at all?
I don't follow it, but I'm definitely interested because fighting is something I've always been interested in. So,
can I get you into MMA?
I'm pretty sure because I feel like I'm already there. I just don't put in the time like watching.
Yeah, because
MMA.
Part of the fun is the storylines behind the fights. So let's see. What is the sport that you don't care about? I know you don't care about football.
I said to say they're not as fun. The storylines aren't as fun as wrestling.
That's true. That's true. What about so you're already in the wrestling, so that's just a small step to get you in the MMA, so that doesn't count. How about football? Could I get you into football?
I literally could give a shit about football.
Can I get you into football?
Do you remember the football memory that I think about the most?
What's that?
When I invited you over to my friend's place for that Super Bowl, and I got pissed because everyone had ate because I was vegetarian at the time, and everyone had ate my vegetarian wings before they finish off the wings that had meat on them.
And this is why you hate football? You associate football with this moment?
No. That's just the only thing I think of when I go to football. And I was like, hey, Tyrice, let me show you this guitar part for that band we were trying to do. And you were just like, you think we could do 2 guitar parts? And like, you're playing like 2 parts by yourself, so I don't know what I need to do here.
There's a lot of trauma here that we need to unpack. There's a lot of trauma. I think you actually love football, but you hate the trauma associated with it.
No, I literally could care less about football.
Okay, you can get me into anime, or try to, and I will try to make you an Eagles fan.
Okay, see, you already had. That's going to be nigh impossible.
I don't know. I think I might be able to. I think I might be able to. Chris, I need your help. Chris, I need your help when you talk to Joe.
It's not going to work, dude. It's not going to work. Literally, he's made my son an Eagles fan. I've seen my son wearing an Eagles jersey and talking about Eagles and like saying the EAGL, all that crap. And I've literally looked at my son, my only son, and given him the Skinner look of pathetic.
Join the cult. Join us. Join us.
This is not gonna. No, I already have a love-hate relationship with geekdom. I don't need that with a sports team too.
Let's see. I'm going to figure out a way to explain. Oh, man, now I'm getting another episode idea. We're gonna have to end this episode soon because I'm getting too many ideas. I'm going to try.
Did we talk about Mortal Kombat?
Barely. But I do want to talk to you once we stop recording on adding more stuff to this episode. But I want to see if I can explain football in a way that you will appreciate it. So, I'm going to give you an option. You say you're into JRPGs now, right?
Like I said, I have to actually try one and actually play it and be in the middle of playing it to enjoy it. So
I'm gonna try to explain it in a way that you will appreciate it. So what's your favorite genre of video game? Like if you get on right now and download a game, you're looking for a new game to download. What genre would you immediately go to look first for what's available?
Probably a fighting game, because literally I have Street Fighter V on my gaming laptop. I have Tekken 7 on my gaming laptop.
Okay.
I have the Street Fighter collection on my Switch. I have Street Fighter 2 Turbo sitting in my sitting over in my not I was gonna say Sega Genesis, not Sega Genesis. Although I have seen the Championship Edition and I want that for my Sega Genesis. But in my Super Nintendo, and I know I have a couple of Tekken games for my PS2.
So I just challenge you to a duel in your favorite genre of video game. Okay, cool. Anyway,
and remember my first favorite game was Street Fighter. So literally,
oh, you know what game I would have beaten you in? Let me make sure I get it right here.
Don't you say Killer Instinct, because I swear to fucking God.
No.
I played the shit out of that game.
This will actually surprise you. The game that I got really good at it, and the reason why I got really good at it, I'll explain to you why. But the Marvel vs. Capcom, like the original arcade.
Oh, son!
I would have destroyed you in this game, and I'll tell you why. It's because like I'm not a 2D fighter guy. But
I remember when they had it at Bodie's.
Okay, I'll do you one better. I remember they had it at the movie theater where I worked. Do you remember?
They had it there?
They had it at the movie theater. And unless I'm thinking of a different game. But they had it at the movie theater. And no, it's definitely Marvel vs. Capcom. Yeah, they had it at the movie theater, and I played this game pretty much every single day. Like every day I played this game, and that is pretty much all we did was playing this game all the time. And even on days where I was off work, I would go and I would play it. So I ended up getting really, really, really good at it. And I would play as, I believe, Iron Man, and I don't remember who else I would choose, but I was so good with Iron Man, I could pretty much just keep Iron Man and no one could beat me.
Oh, really? Okay.
And it was really weird because I got good at that game. And do you remember Crisis Zone, the game where you had to step on the pedal and you had to shoot?
Oh, yeah.
I could finish that entire game without taking a hit.
Are you serious?
Yes.
I was never that good at on-rail shooters.
I just, I remembered where all the bad guys were and where all the cheap shots were because I played the game every single day, multiple times per day, because I had nothing else to do.
Yeah,
so,
you worked at a movie theater.
Right. So I just got good at those two games. So, those two games for Marvel vs. Capcom for maybe not today, but for sure I would have beaten anyone who challenged me. But
I guess it's too bad that's not the game we're playing.
Yep. I'll also beat you in Street Fighter. Just kidding. That's a lie. Just kidding. That was a joke. That was a joke. Not very good at Street Fighter, but I am going to challenge you to a Tekken battle and a Soul Calibur battle. I appreciate you for giving me a reason to get back into fighting games. Hopefully you don't beat me too bad that you get me out of fighting games immediately. But I do want to go over some things that we can add to this episode, but I want to do that off air.
Okay.
And then maybe I'll also reveal to you the super secret project that I'm working on so that I can get your input on that. And with that being said, I'm going to slowly do this. Going to ride the fader so that we can wrap it up for this episode. Because in spite of the fact that I've had 4 shots of espresso before my workout earlier, and then I drink a 5-hour energy drink, I am actually getting pretty sleepy. Believe it or not.
I apologize to the audience because I was ready to talk about Mortal Kombat, and as usual, Tyrice let me Joe all over the podcast, and
I mean, let's be honest, there wasn't much to talk about in the Mortal Kombat movie, but I will give you the opportunity to talk about more. Okay. But I'll tell you about that off air. I'm not sure if we'll be able to, but we will figure out something that we can do. Okay. But if you would like to give your final thoughts on Mortal Kombat, here is your time to do it.
Okay.
Because and then I'll give mine after yours, but I really don't have much.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say, my final thoughts aren't actually going to be about Mortal Kombat itself, but I want to talk about the fact that in this day and age of, I don't know how to say this, pop culture, where we have so much more now than we've ever had before, of varying quality, but just what we have now, just the amount, the quality, everything, fan films and stuff, is so much more than what we've ever had before. There's been a lot of people who have either, loved the movie, didn't love the movie. I want to say one of the people that replied to my post about commenting about the movie, Joseph Simpson, good friend of mine, said he thought the movie was fucking rad, and
agreed.
I agree too, and I think my point is, no one's saying like the movie was anyone who enjoyed the movie isn't saying that the movie's perfect or that it did the best job with storyline and everything. It was a movie that was just fun, and I think a lot of people are shortchanging the fact that the movie was fun for the movie needing to be good in the way they need it to be. Let's be honest, when the first Mortal Kombat game came out, no one was playing it because they wanted to be like, oh, I want to have this like fun story. Like, the story was kind of cool, but the story was really small and lackluster when it started out. Yep. Because it was about the fighting and these cool characters, and like, oh, this one's a ninja, this one's a monk, this one's a movie star. Let's see them literally kick the living shit out of each other. And that's what we got from this. And my biggest takeaway is, I'm not saying any way you feel about this movie is fine. It's not right or wrong, but let's also just remember, sometimes you can just have fun with something. Like, there's nothing wrong with brainless, mindless fun that you turn off. No one's going into Nicolas Cage movies looking for an Oscar-worthy performance. If you see Nicolas Cage in a movie, you're just like, all right, I'm in for a ride. And there you go.
I like that.
And I think we all need to just take stock of that. Like, sometimes you can just watch something just to watch something, like, all right, that was entertaining, and then that's good enough. Yeah, you have levels of quality and stuff. Like, some people would say the MCU, or some people would say certain different series that are going on. And there's nothing wrong with that, and that's amazing. And if people are able to take these mediums, comics, video games, books, and turn them into great movies, which are fun, thought-provoking, really kind of kind of resonate with you, that's great. But how, no one went to go see Jingle All the Way and was just like, man, I'm just here for the deep story and just the richness of the acting. Like, we can just watch stuff for fun. We can just have a good time, and especially with all of the shit that's been going on this past year and even longer than that, let people have fun. Mm-hmm. I saw a man surf a demonic lady into his spinning hat that was on the ground and split her in half. And that was the dope shit that would have made 10-year-old me go, holy shit. And that was all I needed from that movie.
I would like to thank you for giving me a topic for next week's episode. Because while I was listening to you talk, I wrote this down, and you made a really good point about everything doesn't have to be deep. Sometimes you can just enjoy things. And I do think that people struggle with that sometimes. And this is actually the reason, I may have mentioned this before, but this is actually the reason why I haven't seen very many movies. It's because before I started this podcast, I had trouble letting myself relax and just enjoy a movie for 2 hours, because I felt like the time I'm sitting down watching this movie, I could be doing something else, or I should be doing something else. Like, I could read a book. I could work on my writing. I could practice my guitar. I could. There's so many other things that I could do that make me feel guilty for sitting down and giving myself an hour and a half, 2 hours, two and a half hours to just watch a movie. Because in my mind, how am I benefiting from this? Now, obviously, that's not a legitimate, that's not a healthy way to think, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, but now that I have this podcast, I can kind of let myself enjoy movies more because it's part of my work. So I'm catching up on movies that I haven't seen, and now I'm seeing the value in movies outside of, I'm seeing the value that I hadn't seen before. And I'm seeing the value in the movies like Jumanji that aren't deep films, but they have another quality about them that make them worth my time. They're fun. And Mortal Kombat, it's just fun. There's nothing below the surface there. There's nothing there. It's just an enjoyable ride. And I think that not enough people allow themselves to just enjoy things. Just enjoy life. Everything doesn't have to be deep. Everything doesn't have to be Creed was a great movie, right? I don't know about you, but I can't deal with that emotion in every single thing that I watch.
No, I can't.
I can't deal with Up. Every movie being the beginning of Up, every movie being Toy Story 4. Those are great, but sometimes I just need a break. So that's going to be a great upcoming topic, maybe for the next episode. But also on the subject of Mortal Kombat, I couldn't help but think about, when you were describing it, I couldn't help but think about Neil Young. People love Neil Young. Neil Young isn't going to win any awards for his singing voice. But his voice doesn't have to be perfect for it to have merit and have meaning. He's not people love Bruce Springsteen. Bruce Springsteen, not a great singer. So, people love Fall Out Boy. Fall Out Boy songs aren't that intricate. Blink 182 songs are just 3 chords. A lot of them are, but they're great songs because they're fun and they're catchy. So everything doesn't have to be deep and complicated, and sometimes it can just be surface level, and that's okay. And Mortal Kombat was very surface, and I had a blast. It's like you said, I wouldn't even necessarily call it a good movie. It was just, like I said, my review of it was awful. I loved every second of it. I just had a ton of fun with it, and that to me is the most important thing coming out of a movie. And I'm probably going to watch it again. It's because I just enjoyed it that much. But yeah, that was a really good point that you made, and it's going to become a topic of an upcoming episode, I am certain. But with that, I will talk to you about some more stuff here after we finish recording. But I think we can wrap it up and play our outro music, and then have a little encore conversation after the actual music, like I always do. You guys stick around for that, right? Right? Okay. All right. And without further ado, a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4, and here we go.
Misinterpreting all the movies that you've seen. You might not have seen all the movies we're misinterpreting. That's alright, that's okay. You're really smart, and that's fair play. Misinterpreting all the movies that you've seen. You might not have seen all the movies we're misinterpreting. That's alright, that's okay. You're really smart, and that's fair play. Misinterpreting.
Okay, so I want to say this to the people listening. If you're listening to this and you're streaming it, sorry, you're going to miss out. You should probably get on YouTube and watch this. But for every episode, I have a song of the week on the board. And I told you guys about this before, and I hope you're paying attention because these songs are all great, and most of the time there's a meaning behind them. And this song in particular, I thought had an interesting meaning. I went on to genius.com and read all about this entire album, and this entire album is amazing. It has a really important message in this album. And also this song itself, I thought was a really interesting, the guitarist slash lead singer of this band had a really interesting message in an interview with Apple Music. So I'm going to read that to you. He says, the song is called, well, I'm not going to tell you what the song is called because you need to watch it on YouTube for all you streamers out there. Get my views up. It says, of course we love to grind. I don't know if there's anything better in this world than playing a riff with the drummer, just grinding it. Lyric-wise, I'm talking about transcending ourselves and overcoming our problems. We have the power. We can change things. We can bend laws. We can break walls. But we also have our routines. Wake up, wash the dishes, go to work, make money. You have to surrender to that clockwork grind in order to find freedom. So do your dishes. You'll suffer less tomorrow. And that's my message. Do your dishes and you'll suffer less tomorrow. And yes?
Wait. Actually, one thing I wanted to do is I wanted to shout out that we have a review on Apple Podcasts. So as we've been asking people, to please share the podcast with your friends, to, rate us on, like Apple, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast, to hit like and subscribe on YouTube and, comment there. We wanted to shout out someone who actually left us a review. So this is from Mitch is Right. And it says, the title is, This Guy Makes You Think. This content creator has a great way to make you think about things you may not have before. Really get your brain gears turning, And is explained in a way you can understand, like counterculture, for example. Great listening, good guess. And Mitch, we just wanted to say thanks, and we appreciate it.
And I want to say this. Why is it not happening? What? No, that was so underwhelming. Oh, I'm so disappointed right now.
Just how you'll be when I beat you in Tekken 7.
I don't know if you guys can see this on the YouTube video, but this is supposed to be a hip-hop air horn, and it's not air horning, and I don't know why. Thank you for that. Well, since I don't have the air horn, I'll just say thank you for that review. Appreciate you. And and that's the sound, Joe, that you're going to make when I beat you at Tekken 7. I don't know what that means, but it's supposed to sound intimidating, and I don't think it did. So I'm just going to go. Goodbye.
Bye.